Hey everybody, my name is Jessica and welcome back to the Ebony Xscape. Holiday season is upon us and we're all looking for gifts. So for those of us who are trying to lean into our creative practice, I have assembled a list of gifts that you can get for your person or for yourself. A lot of the focus is going to be on hardware, and to start us off, I have the Lift mouse from Logitech. This year I was having a lot of problems with my hand, and it was particularly when I was using my mouse, which is an old Logitech mouse that I've been using since college. It was too small for my hand and sometimes would even lose connection with the computer. I needed to upgrade and I needed something that wouldn't make my hand feel worse. That's where the Lift came in. I actually first saw it on Maisie Lay's socials, and as a side note, if you want to follow someone that has a chill aesthetic desk setup, I would definitely recommend following her. The thing about this mouse is you grasp it from the handshake position, so therefore it's supposed to put less pressure on your wrist, and it can also lead to you having better posture. And it's really great for me, and I've personally had less pain in my hand from using this mouse. It's a bit of an adjustment period because it's definitely different than like the flat position and you're going to like this handshake position, but it's definitely easy to grip the mouse after you've had some practice with it and you've been using it for a while. And I've been using mine for at least a couple months now. Moving from this flat position to the handshake position seems to have been working, at least for me, and it does feel a little weird at first and there is an adjustment period, but after you've got some practice using it, it just feels better, and so you can spend more time in Photoshop or coding or whatever you need to do, and you can spend more time in your computer and less time like feeling all that pain. So I would definitely recommend it to someone who needs that kind of relief from their hand and is that kind of creative. And next up is the Kasha Smart Wi-Fi bulb, which I'm actually using right now. This actually saved me so much headache because I thought that I hated my lamp, but really I hated the light bulb that was in my lamp. I was skeptical of smart bulbs because I didn't really see the point, but after having used one, I love it thus far. The ability to brighten the light, dim the light, change color temperatures, change to any color that you can imagine is definitely an asset. Whether you're doing Zoom calls, whether you are doing content creation, or whether you just need something to change with your mood, and that could just be for anybody or anyone that experiences like seasonal mood shifts and stuff like that. Having a bulb like this is really great because you can even set alarms for it to go on at a certain time. You can set scenes so that there's certain presets for different lights that you want to have set up. I just have this one right now, but I'm seriously considering getting more of these bulbs. You can also turn the light on or off from the power source, so like physically turning the lamp on or off, or you can use the Casa app to turn the lamp on or off. So if you forgot to turn the light off when you leave the house, you can just turn it off via the app, and you can also keep a track of which bulbs are on or off. And that way, maybe you've gone to bed, you don't want to get out of the bed, and you just want to turn the light off, you can just do it from your phone. So people that spend a lot of time at their desks, people who don't have access to a lot of natural light and need electrical light more so, content creators, photographers could all benefit from having this, and it has definitely helped me thus far. If you're someone that spends a lot of time typing at their keyboard and you would like to put a little bit more customization in your life, maybe you should try putting some personality in your keyboard. I personally got an M84 mechanical keyboard, and I love blue and the ocean, so it makes me happy. And I got a coiled keyboard cable from Gunham Joe. Honestly, my previous keyboard didn't have any issues. I just wanted it for the look. The keyboard itself can be used with Mac or PC, but it only has software to control the backlight of the keyboard via the PC. One workaround is that if you download the software on the PC and you make your adjustments and changes on your PC, you can take it over to your Mac and the settings will remain for the lighting. A customized mechanical keyboard is great for anyone that spends a lot of time at their computer. Whether you're writing or you're coding or editing or whatever it is you're doing, you can add some personality to your creative space. Also, if you like a chunkier sounding keyboard, this will do that for you. And the great thing is, even if I want to switch things up, I can get different keycaps. Okay, so this next gift is if you've got some big bucks to spend and you love this person. I don't think this is on some I like you kind of stuff. This is serious, and if you're serious, I suggest you get an iPad. My iPad and Apple Pencil have been game-changing tools for me. I like to call my iPad God's sketchbook because I feel like I can do anything with it. I can easily switch between tasks, multitask, handle admin stuff for my business, and it's there when I need to jot down ideas quickly, draw, browse the web, research, read, create content, or even write content. It's really great when I need to leave the house and I don't feel like I need a laptop, but I need more than a phone. I personally have an iPad Air and the second generation Apple Pencil, and that's been working pretty well for me. But maybe you can't swing the iPad and the Apple Pencil. That's okay. They might already have it. The next best thing is to get the accessories. Personally, I started with an Apple Pencil cover. I initially wanted to get a yellow pencil cover that looked like a traditional pencil. So I was debating between a yellow pencil cover and a blue Staedtler pencil cover. I think that's how you pronounce that. Basically, a lot of art students and architecture students are familiar with the blue pencil that I'm talking about with like the black cap at the top. But I happen to be a fan of BTS, so I found a traditional pencil cover that had Koya on it instead and went with that. I personally like having this chunkier type of pencil cover because it feels better in my hand and I feel like I don't have to scrunch up my hand as much on the Apple Pencil. As for an iPad case, I got the Qoo keyboard case for my iPad Air. To be honest, the Bluetooth connection can drop off sometimes, particularly if you aren't constantly using it, and the trackpad can get misclicks when you're typing and your hand brushes it. But honestly, I needed something that wasn't going to break the bank and would protect my tablet. Aside from the drawbacks, the keyboard works perfectly fine when there are no Bluetooth connection issues, and there are several different ways to position the case so that the tablet can be in laptop mode, display mode, and tablet mode. There's also a loop on the side so that it can hold the Apple Pencil when it's not in a pencil case, and there's also a space open at the top of the case so that you can charge your Apple Pencil as well. I personally prefer to navigate my tablet using the touchscreen or with a Bluetooth mouse. Since we're on the topic of iPads, I would also recommend digital planner accessories like digital planners and digital stickers. Now, I love a good traditional paper notebook or a planner. I literally have piles of them, but I have a small space and it's easy for me to get overwhelmed by too many things taking up that space. So the next best thing is to have digital planners and notebooks because no matter how many you have, it's all just in one tablet. I actually have my own lineup of digital planners on my Etsy shop, and each of those planners are lined up to be either a monthly planner, a daily planner, which is my personal favorite, and a weekly planner. And I also sell the individual sheets for said planner if you don't want a whole planner. And on top of that, I have digital stickers that are centered around motivation and self-care. My planner is such an essential for me because it allows for me to have a place to schedule my events, to do brain dumps, keep up with my to-do list and everything, and whatever else I can think of that I need to make notes for, or ideas that I have, or content ideas, or whatever I'm doing. My planner is there for me so that I can use it for all those different things. And even though I really like using the daily digital planner setup that I've created, I also still like to use the sheet inserts that I've created for the monthly and weekly inserts as well when I need to get a different look at events and a different look at time so I can plan more things in the future or get a different scope of things. So it's really customizable when you use a digital planner, and it makes it a lot easier to keep up with and maintain. And if there's something that you want to carry over to another day, you can just copy and paste it and use it that way, and you can always reuse it and keep using it over and over again for whatever you need. So it's been a really great resource, and it's basically what I've been using all year. I still have a notebook or a few notebooks that I like to use, but as far as my main place where I keep up with everything, it's my digital planner. Okay, so I know this isn't the funniest of gifts, but you can't say you didn't get him anything. Seriously though, this outlet tower has been really helpful because I literally had a long power strip just sitting on my desk. I didn't like it, you don't like it, but it was all I had at the time, so it was what I had to use. Now that I have this, I have it sequestered off into the corner of my desk, and it takes care of everything that needs to be plugged up. So maybe this can actually be a gift for someone who really cares about keeping themselves organized, or this can be a side-eye gift. Or you know what, just get it for yourself so your office can be a little less of a disaster. Now, it's nice to get these physical gifts that can be in your space and that you can use in your daily practice, but sometimes you need to update your software. like, keep your brain from imploding. So here's some recommendations. And mind you, these gifts are more of like, I would say the touchy-feely kind of variety for someone that is maybe having a creative slump and maybe they would really appreciate encouragement. Probably someone that has the personality of liking a handwritten letter, someone that would like it if you shared your playlist with them, someone who likes gifts like that, I would recommend this to them. You can make them a meditation playlist. If your person is into meditation, then you could create a private or an unlisted playlist of meditations for them. And I personally recommend the YouTube channel Declutter the Mind. They play their ads at the beginning of the video and don't have their meditations interrupted in the midst of the video, which is sad to say, but there are definitely channels where the point is for it to be a meditation. But in the middle of a meditation where they're trying to talk you down from a panic attack, some ad comes blasting up. But their videos don't do that. They get the ad out of the way at the beginning, and you can just move on with the meditation uninterrupted. And they also have a lot of variety of topics and time lengths, so some meditations can go from 5 minutes up to an hour or a couple of hours. And some of the topics that they cover are like anxiety, guilt, panic, all different kinds of things that you can think of. They have and are willing to take community input and are adding to their repository of videos on their YouTube channel. So if you or your person struggle with anxieties or worries or just being present, having panic attacks even, then there's a meditation for that. And you can create a list of like go-to meditations in a list of those videos so that you can have that as like a support system, either as a proactive or reactive measure. You could also turn them on to the creative pep talk. I will sing this podcast praises until the end of my days. I recommend, honestly, that you take a listen for yourself and create a playlist of your favorite episodes. The person that gets this as a gift will know that you're trying to encourage them in their creative practice and genuinely believe in them. It is so encouraging and gives you actionable advice. So whether you're facing a creative block or a slump, or you need some sort of reinforcement for how to pivot or refresh your practice, I will always recommend this podcast. And speaking of which, I would also recommend the Creative Career Path Handbook. The handbook itself was created by the host of the podcast, Andy J. Pizza or Andy J. Miller, and I would definitely recommend this to someone who has been trying to recalculate or reevaluate their creative career path. And they're looking for advice, they're looking for a way to form a new plan, and they just need a place to work it out. That handbook is a place for that. I'm personally using this to make strategic decisions in my own creative career. And because of the way that Andy formatted the handbook, you can revisit this again and again, whether it's to evaluate the plan that you've already laid out and made actions on and executed steps for, or whether you need to look at it again in a while when you're looking at pivoting, when you're looking at creating a new project. It's there to be able to be useful over and over again. I mean, New Year's celebrations are just around the corner, so why wait for the first? You can start now. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope you found something that you can gift your people or yourself. Happy holidays, and keep creating and keep escaping. Bye, y'all.